management and board meetings. This is so fun. What's the difference between a property manager and a board of directors?
Property manager is the hired hand. The board of directors are the ones in control.
Now, that is not to say that you have to be at the helm all the time. What it means is we are your operations manager. Those rules and regulations that you set forth, those decisions that you make within your board meetings, those are our directives that we fulfill on your behalf.
We are the facilitators.
That is correct. We are the facilitators of information and communication. Now, we are not attorneys. We are not allowed, nor should we, interpret any legal information or be requested or required to offer an opinion about a legal matter. Anytime you ask your property manager, hey, what's your opinion on this piece of legal literature? Your response should be, oh, we should probably talk to the attorney on this one.
Yes.
Okay? So please be very careful with that. Our responsibilities as a management group, we are to give you best business practices. We are to give you guidance. We are to be your partner. We are to be your confidant that tells you, oh, hey, I bet you didn't know that this law changed. So let me just let you know that when you come to this decision, let's talk about this first so that you can be properly educated. That's our role. Our role is to help you. Our role is to carry out those actions. Our role is not to make those decisions, though. So please be very careful with that. And it's okay for your manager to come back to you and say, this is something that the attorney needs to take care of. This is something that we need to have properly recorded.
Correct.
Okay? So don't,
This is something we need to vote on.
Yes,
this
exactly.
Is something we need to have documented that we voted on.
There is a tremendous amount of gray area with all three of these categories: property manager, board of director, and your attorney. But please know, we are here to help you manage those expectations and give you some clear-cut direction on that for you. So, administrative management and board meetings. I know this is not a fun topic for most of you.
However, it's one of those ones that bite us all.
And sometimes it's probably the most dreaded responsibility that you have. Some people would gladly be on the financial committee or the finance committee so that they could avoid having to go to board meetings.
Correct. So I'm going to give you my rule of thumb, and you're going to laugh. Number one, if you spent more than an hour in your last board meeting, you're doing something wrong.
Oh.
Period.
Yikes, that was me.
And so that's just the gospel according to Chet. But if you are spending more than an hour in any meeting with a board, you're doing something wrong. And what I mean by that is the board comes together at a board meeting to make decisions and have discussions about decisions, not to sit there and read through 47 documents and debate them.
Correct.
So if you want to do those kinds of things and they're necessary, then you have those readings and debates via email before you get to that board meeting. So when you get to the board meeting, everybody understands exactly what the decisions are and they can vote accordingly. The second thing is we allow people to go on and on and on. And at the end of the day, the board president or the property manager, depending on who normally runs that, needs to be able to go, time. We've spent enough time on this. We need to move on. We have an agenda and we must follow it. That's back to that little comment about Robert's rules. Boards are meant to be business meetings, not social gatherings. Board
meeting minutes are only meant to record decisions and discussion. That's it. And I know that this is a super, super hot topic amongst a lot of people. So if any of you have any questions as it relates to taking meeting minutes or the roles and responsibilities at a board meeting, you're welcome to ask those questions now.
One other thing to keep in mind, board minutes are legal documents.
Yes.
They must be maintained and they must be kept.
That is
on
correct.
File.
Now, Chet and I are super proponents for this one topic. We believe in timed agendas. Now, for some of you, you don't like that idea because you believe that you want it to be one happy family and you encourage the community talking to you and having discussion. I'm not saying that we want you to change that. I would just recommend that maybe you just host those as town halls and keep your board meetings strictly for making decisions. because you probably are having those be 4-hour meetings, right?
Correct.
Gosh,
and
at
that's-
least.
And those are, the town halls are really, really great tools because no decisions are made. No challenges are made. It's simply, we're opening the floor for discussion. But in your board meetings, when you want those timed, and the reason for that is, as an example, you have a board meeting, you've opened that board meeting and you have the first half hour, let's just say, for the homeowners to be able to come in and talk to the board about whatever. If you have 7 people in there and you've only got a half an hour, you're not going to get to number 7 unless you absolutely control the number of time, how long, I guess to be specific, how long someone can talk. And sometimes you have to tell them, you have 3 minutes, go. And
It's not for, there are non-rude ways that you can do that.
Sure.
Again, this is proactive communication. As the property manager, in that particular situation of a timed experience, I'm going to call or email that said homeowner and say, hey, listen, we've got 6 people talking with you. You've got 3 minutes. We have to be very concise with the time. Please come prepared. This is the topic. You may even give them, from 7 to 7:30, you go on at 7:15. Okay, it's okay for you to give that information, but see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be proactive, and I'm going to reach out and I'm going to set the standard
and the expectation.
so that when they arrive, they're already ready to go. And so when the board member says, okay, your 3 minutes start now, you're not being offensive and it's not being received offensively. They've already had that knowledge and that information. So timed agendas definitely work. And I will also say this, timed agendas are your savior from that one homeowner that wants to take the conversation off the rails, okay? So when it comes to a town hall, typically town halls are considered special meetings. So when you have to call a special meeting, you have to follow the special meeting protocol. And in said special meeting protocol, it says you must state the reason why it is that you are having this meeting. So if, let's just say, we are meeting to discuss recarpeting the first floor. Please join us at 1 o'clock to have open discussion. We know that we're not voting on anything because a town hall has no votes. And we know what the topic is, we know where we're going, but then you have homeowner Smith that comes in and says, I would like to talk about the dead tree that's in my front yard that has, I don't know, whatever.
Has never been removed, and I know it's the association's responsibility.
Valid concern. Valid concern. Inappropriate time. Okay? It is acceptable for you to say, I want to hear more about what you have to say. Today we're going to be talking about this. We've got 1 hour. If you let us get through this 1 hour talking about this, let's have a side conversation and we can talk about it later. This is where having timed agendas and setting specific standards allow you to have the ability to run effective meetings. Guys, we're not telling you to tell people, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to have a discussion. No, we're just asking for people to follow the rules. I can't walk into Procter & Gamble's board meeting and go, hey, your toilet paper sucks.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
I can't do that. They don't let me in their board meeting. You know what I mean? So make sure you understand what your bylaws are and make sure your homeowners understand. If you as a board of directors are supposed to have a monthly board meeting, publish that. Put a calendar out. Use Vanica. Put your board meetings out there so that your homeowners know. It doesn't necessarily mean that they can attend, but they can expect when they can see the board meeting minutes.
Right.
Now we're going to talk about risk management. We're going to go through these slides a little bit quickly. Here's what we can definitely tell you that you should capture. Read your documents and have the appropriate coverage. You never want to skimp on insurance. And in fact, you cannot skimp on insurance. These are fun. Exposure avoidance. You know, here's the best thing I'm going to say about everything related to what we're talking about right now. I'm sure you guys are best friends with your attorneys right now. And if you're not, you probably should be.
Yes.
Because just about everything that's been happening recently has really warranted us all having to take a step back and go, we may need a different set of eyes on these in order to navigate us forward. Different coverages for property insurance and why it's important. And we also have liability insurance. This is really interesting. This is where your directors and officers insurance sometimes is included, and sometimes it's a policy in and of itself. Directors and officers insurance almost always have so many exclusions. So make sure that you have a healthy expectation and an understanding, and that's something that your agent can help you with in understanding those policies and what's going to be in the best interest of your association. And then too, don't forget, most of your documents, especially if you're a condo association, have some specific requirements in there.
Of insurance coverage and...
But not the ones that you would think.
Yeah.
There are some policies that you think are required, like water or flood insurance. That's not a requirement unless your documents say it is, which almost always it is. But in the state of Georgia, it's only fire and other perils, correct?
Fire and other perils. So the other thing to keep
perils.
in mind when you look at your property, and this harkens back to the whole map and plat and all that sort of thing, is that I have found in multiple situations now where a association does not have flood insurance, yet some quadrant of that association is in a flood zone.
Oh, God.
And so it's just crazy. I don't know why it is, but they have to go out and they have to go to their insurance people and say, well, I guess we have to have flood insurance.
So the personnel insurance that we're talking about here is sometimes covered and most of the time covered in your D&O policy. Just make sure that your D&O covers volunteers, committee members, guests of residents that are there, because this is where we start to see a lot of those workman's comp claims come through.
Sure.
Because of accidents that transpire while you're having a birthday party at the clubhouse.
Correct.
Or you've got a vendor.
Or you have
it
could be a dozen things.
It really could be a dozen things.